What's up, Infected? It's Wolf of the Quarantine, and let me tell some of you guys a story back in the ye olde days of the internet. And there was a man. Well, he was more of a dragon man. Maybe he was just a dragon. But either way, he was still... Some of you guys may remember TROGDOR from Homestar Runner, which was like this flash video that was really funny, and a strong bad email is really what it was from. And somebody wanted him to teach him how to draw a dragon. And it's really funny. Google it if you haven't. It's a pretty funny skit. It hasn't aged very well, but today we're going to be taking a look at a TROGDOR board game, where you get to take control of TROGDOR, and you get to burninate the countryside and the thatched roof cottages and the peasants. So what is this outside of its theme? Well, it's a theme, or it's a puzzle kind of game. Your goal as TROGDOR is to burn the entire countryside, all of the thatched roof cottages, and all of the peasants. So let's take a look at the overview. Alright, so to start out, you're going to set up a game of TROGDOR. So you're going to do that by touching it with your wand. The game should automatically set itself up if you believe hard enough. But I also need to mention everything you see here is a Kickstarter prototype of the game. So the game has set itself up here, and you're going to give each player a character card out of the little stack here. You're going to give them 2, you're going to pick 1, and you're also going to do that with the items as well. Now these are special little characters and special powers and stuff that you get to combine that break the rules and bend the rules. I also need to mention that these did not come with the game. These are just to be able to hold the prototype components a little bit better. But the next thing you do is each player is going to be given one of these Trog cards. And you're ready to play. At the beginning of your turn, you're going to draw a new Trog card, and you're going to choose which one of these 2 you want to use. Now this is how many actions you must take, and then this is a special rule or special ability that's going to be in effect on your turn. Now once you've chosen which one of these 2 you want to do, let's say I'll do this one. So 7 action points, and then Troggy got a good night's rest and his extra energy. So fantastic. So you're going to put this in the discard pile, and you do 7 actions. Now your actions are going to be, you can move, you can burninate the countryside, you can devour a peasant, you can burninate a peasant, you can burninate a cottage, or you can hide if you're in a mountain area. And what those are is movement is, for 1 space, is 1 movement. So I have 7 AP, I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 if I really wanted to. You can burninate a countryside, you would take this, you'd flip it, and now it's burninated. You can burninate a villager. Now when you burninate a villager, they get the burninate cap that pops on them like this, sometimes, and then they freak out. Of course you have to be in the same spot as them, but they're going to freak out and they're going to run in a random direction, burninating everything in its path. So you're going to draw one of these cards, and it's going to burninate in this path. So it's going to freak out, it's going to burn this square it's on, this, and this. But then he dies and he's removed from the game, which is actually a pretty bad thing. So let's say our guy did do that. So he freaks out, runs over here, poof, and a thing of smoke. But because he also hit another one, this guy would do the same thing, which is called a chain reaction. So you flip over another card, and he would do the same thing. So he's going to go here, 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 and then up 1, which wraps back around here. And of course, burninating everything in his wake. Now let me tell you why that's a bad idea, because yes, your goal is to kill or eat all of the peasants, burninate all of the thatched roof cottages, which I'll get to, and burninate all of the areas on here. So it sounds like, look, we're making a pretty good dent. But throughout the course of the game, TROGDOR is going to take damage, which these will be removed from the game, which leaves TROGDOR with a little bit less health. Now I'll get to why that's important a little bit more, but that's not a good thing. And the way you get peasants put back on here is if I were to somehow move over here and I eat this peasant, then he goes back onto this chart. But as we all know, TROGDOR will only eat smoked meat. So you can only eat a peasant if he were on a burninated tile. So if he was here, I would be able to move over here and eat this peasant, adding him to here. So some of the other actions that you can take is you can burninate a cottage. So this little thatched roof cottage can light on fire. The only way in order that you can do that though is if all of the surrounding tiles are also on fire. So if you had burninated everything around this, then you can spend one of your action points if you're on it, unless of course you have a card that breaks that rule, and then you could burninate that thatched roof cottage. But now that we've performed way more actions than we should have been able to actually do, then you're going to move to the, I guess you would call it the event phase, where you're going to move peasants and everything. Now you're going to do that by drawing one of these cards. Then you're going to look at the card. If there are less than this number of peasants out here, you're going to take a peasant from here and you're going to spawn it on one of the thatched roof cottages. Then all of the peasants are going to move in the direction of this little arrow, so this is west. So this guy's going to move over here, and of course if I had another peasant, say here, he would move to there. Then you're going to look, and all of the enemies on the board, so the knights and the archers, are going to move according to this. So this knight would go 1, 2, 3. Because he entered into a space that Trogdor was in, you lose a peasant. Then this, of course, does the same thing. 1, 2, 3 is where it would go. And then the archers will shoot in the direction of these arrows. So it's going to shoot all across here. So if this would have moved way down, say somehow moved and wound up here, then this is also going to shoot Trogdor, thus removing his final peasant and removing it from the game. Any peasant that's removed from this for any other reason than spawning a peasant is removed from the game and never comes back. So that's why burninating a peasant isn't the best idea. Once you've done that, you performed all your actions, all of the enemies performed their actions, you took any damage that you were supposed to do, then the next player will take their turn and you're going to do the exact same thing. Now this is a cooperative game and your goal is to devour or burninate all of the peasants, burninate all of the thatched roof cottages, and burninate the entire countryside. On top of that, if a peasant's movement card has a green arrow versus a red arrow, if it's green and they move onto a burninated thatched roof cottage, they actually fix that cottage, because screw those guys. But if it's red and this were to happen to move on to here and Trogdor's off doing whatever, then of course they're not going to repair it. But if the green one did, then this would flip back over. They're pretty good at putting out fires, which really sucks for Trogdor. Then the last thing you can do is if you are on a mountainside, then you can hide as one of your actions. So what that'll do is if anything were to do damage to you, one of the knights or the archers try to shoot at you, then you would just ignore it because you're hidden. And in a nutshell, that is how you play Trogdor. So when I first got sent this to review, I was stoked because I used to watch a lot of Strong Bad when I was younger, and I love Trogdor. So this definitely, it's right in here is where the nostalgia bone is, and that's right where it hit. So first and foremost, I was stoked about that. But who is this game going to be for? So the game at its core is really a puzzle. You're given this problem. You have to burninate the entire countryside, eat everybody, kill everybody, and burn the thatched roof cottages. That's your goal. So you wind up having to figure out, how am I going to use these cards to do this? And then it's also cooperative. So if you like cooperative games, you're definitely going to dig this because, there's not that rivalry or anything, so it's going to be easy to teach because you can, tell people, okay, this is what you probably should do, whatever. You're all able to kind of help each other, to give each other ideas. And then the more people you have, the more special abilities that you have that you're going to be able to bounce off each other, which is pretty cool. And did I mention you get a 3D model of friggin' Trogdor? But like I said, the game is really a puzzle game. So if you like puzzle games, you like cooperative games, this is definitely up your alley. If you're part of the generation that used to watch Strong Bad back in the day, then it's also going to be right up your alley. It's a good, fun, light little game. If you're looking for something to play with kids, or even people who maybe don't play a lot of board games, that even if they don't know who Trogdor is, it's still a good, fun, light little puzzle. Doesn't take up much room. It's pretty light. You can knock out a game in less than 30-45 minutes at most. I think that was the longest game we played, was 45 minutes. It's a very, very simple game. Definitely check out this Kickstarter. I will have a link down in the description that'll take you directly to that Kickstarter page. It'll provide way more information than I can possibly cover here, but definitely check this one out. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time in the quarantine.